finally here. The wait is over. The time for Rage 2 to hit the shelves is here. It's been almost 10 years since we last visited the universe of Rage. And let me tell you, a lot has changed in 10 years. Now don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the first Rage. It was fun. But where the original Rage was limited by the technology of the time, and it really couldn't fulfill what id had envisioned for that game, Rage 2 rises above and beyond all expectations, and the full vision of the original Rage universe has now come to life. And Rage 2 is jam-packed with so many surprises and sheer excitement words almost cannot express. But just for you, I'll try to break it down into 7 things to truly be excited about in Rage 2. We start with the studios. id Software, the maker of the original Rage, is back, of course, working on Rage 2 as well. Now, why is this exciting? Because id Software is the makers of some of the best first-person shooters of all time. In fact, most recognize id Software as the king of the first-person shooter. For one, they were the ones who started the first-person shooter craze all the way back in 1992 with a game called Wolfenstein 3D. And then, just over a year later, they released the greatest first-person shooter of all time. Now don't argue, there's no arguing, it is the absolute best. What game am I talking about? The original Doom, of course. That game went on to win every award there was and took the world by storm. It was huge. They went on to make Doom 2 and Doom 3 and Quake. And then in 2016, they showed the world that they were still king with the Doom reboot. With id Software at the helm, this should make you very excited. If you've played any of those games that I mentioned, those games in their time were some of the very best games ever. That gets me very excited for Rage 2. It should also excite you that Rage 2 is not made by id Software alone. They have a partner, Avalanche Studios. In fact, these studios are called co-developers, getting equal credit for this game. So we do know that both id and Avalanche have been working overtime on this project. Now some might question, why would id bring in an outside developer on this project? And the answer is simple. I already told you that the technology for the original Rage was lacking for them to realize all that they wanted to do. And even with all the advances that id Software has made in the last 10 years, open worlds and vehicles are not id Software's strong suit. So they reached out to Avalanche Studios, who have made amazing open world games with insane vehicles like Just Cause and Mad Max. In fact, Rage 2 will be running on Avalanche's engine called the Apex engine instead of id's idTech engine. The next thing that should really excite you is the open world of Rage 2. Now, I know you've heard other games say they have an open world. Well, do they really? Rage 2 has a world that you can go anywhere at any time, and I mean from the very start of the game. The whole map is open to you. Being able to explore the whole world from the very start of the game is super exciting. But just how big of a world are we talking about? Well, Chief Production Officer John Fuller of Avalanche Studios was asked that very question, and he answered that it's just smaller than the world of Just Cause 3. And how big was Just Cause 3? Well, he said it was a huge world because it had a jet in it. Well, Rage 2 don't have a jet in it, but it does have a hovercraft. but we'll get to that in just a minute. Studio director Tim Willits at id Software was speaking of the map size, and he said that they were striving to put something fun and engaging around every corner. We thought this was the way we wanted to make the game, with an open world more rich and compact. It will be great without a doubt, but we have been focused mainly on density, not size. So they have promised that this world is going to be jam-packed, both in the vehicle and out of the vehicle. And by the way, let me mention that this is going to be a seamless open world, meaning there are no loading screens anywhere in this world. You can go from vehicle to ground at any time, anywhere, with no loading screens. Another huge thing to be excited about. And this world is not the old brown world of 10 years ago Rage. No, this is a vibrant world. In fact, this world is set 30 years into the future. So this world has had time to prosper. And there is 5 distinct biomes in this world that you get to explore, including forests, swamps, cities, deserts, and they are so unique and diverse. They have put in extra effort to make these so unique from one another. In fact, the diversity of these areas remind me of another developer that Bethesda publishes, who is very good at world building. Now, one more thing before we move on about what is in this world. The enemies in this world, the different factions in this world. Every biome has a different faction ruling over it, and you're going to run into different distinct groups. And it is so interesting how id and Avalanche wrote these into the story and made them a part of the environment themselves. And you are going to fall in love with some of these groups, and then you're going to love to hate some of the other groups that you will run into in this wonderful world of Rage 2. The next super exciting thing about this world, and I think where the developers really wanted to make a difference in Rage 2 over the original Rage, is the vehicles. In the original Rage, there was vehicle combat, but they have really stepped that up in Rage 2. In fact, the saying of Rage 2 is, if you can see it, you can drive it. That's right, if you find it in the wasteland, or if you can take it from somebody in the wasteland, you can drive it. And there are all kinds of vehicles. In fact, the vehicles are as diverse as the enemies and the biomes in the world. You have trucks, you have monster trucks, you have cars, you have buggies, you even, yes, have a hovercraft in the world. And I'm sure there are some surprises waiting with the vehicles. And these vehicles are customizable as well. There are special events in the world for the vehicles. This game gives you what other games try to promise but fail to deliver: a go anywhere, do anything. For those that love the vehicles, they can go around and stay in the vehicles all day, customizing the vehicles, doing events for vehicles. If you don't like the vehicles, you can stay away from the vehicles. Very super exciting. Next on our list is the Nano Trike powers. And oh, you talk about fun. These are nothing but FUN fun. I cannot wait to get my hands on the Nano Trike powers, and I have played with them a little bit. These are going to be super exciting. These are the powers given to the Ranger by his Nano Trike blood, and these are super unique to Rage 2, and you develop these as you go through the game. And there are several. And again, I'm sure there are more surprises as you go through the game. But these can be so overpowering to enemies and so fun to play with. As you see, you have the slam power and so many others. By the way, I did a video on the powers. If you want a rundown of every power in Rage 2 that we know about and all that they do, please check out that video. Along with the powers, you have the weapons. And by the way, some of the powers are infused into the weapons. Now, anytime you have an id Software game, you're going to have crazy and insane weapons. If any of you played Doom 2016, you know what I'm talking about. This game is going to have over-the-top weapons and great weapon play. There is no smoother weapon play than an id Software first-person shooter. And this game is not just a first-person shooter. This is an open-world first-person shooter, action game, RPG, adventure game, do whatever you want to game, but it does have that first-person shooter smoothness of an id Software game, and the weapon play with the weapons are insane. I love the gravity weapons where you can throw the bomb and they stick to it and go flying in the air. You talk about exciting. And the last on our list, with everything we've said, is the replayability of this game. Since it is a go anywhere, do anything game, the replayability of this game is off the charts. You can go anywhere from the very start of the game, so no game you play will ever be the same. What a fabulous game to get to replay over and over again. So what else can be said about Rage 2? You say, KingFanMan, you haven't said anything about the story. Well, I was telling you what I was excited about. The story sounds kind of exciting. It's set 30 years after the events of the first Rage. The Authority is back. They are oppressing people. You are Walker, a ranger, which I find kind of funny. And you are given special abilities and you're going after the Authority to end their oppression on the wasteland. There's the story. There are some of the original characters from Rage that are going to be back. But the most I can say about this game that is exciting is it's built for fun. This is a game that is built for fun. So there's absolutely no doubt what I'm going to be doing in the days, weeks, and months that lay ahead. That's playing Rage 2. Check all my links down below. I have Twitter, I have Facebook, we have Discord, and yes, I have Patreon if you would like to become a partner with this channel. I am the KingFanMan. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.